Is my favourite story, I think, in showbiz this year. The Justin Baldoni war with Blake Lively, which
Ooh.
seems to me, initially I felt quite sorry for Blake Lively. Then I've been reading all the messages between them all, and which he's been putting out, obviously. And it just seems like a pair of absolute weapons-grade narcissists. Now, spray gunning each other with as much dirt as they can possibly do, having spewed lovey-dovey stuff to each other for months on end.
Piers Morgan doesn't pull punches. But what he unleashed live on air against Blake Lively was on another level. Gone is the red carpet sweetheart image. Gone is the idea of the perfect Hollywood family. With a single broadcast, Morgan destroyed the reputation Blake Lively spent years building. "This woman is a nightmare," Morgan declared, staring straight into the camera, his voice cold and matter-of-fact. "A master manipulator who's fooled millions, but not anymore." The audience sat in stunned silence, jaws open, as Morgan promised to show the world what's really hiding behind Blake's carefully curated mask. For years, Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds have sold the world a fantasy. The funny, relatable couple. The family everyone wants to be. But Morgan ripped through their image with ease, exposing the tricks, the PR stunts, and the legal maneuvers used to keep their empire untouchable. "What you see is not what you get," Morgan said, holding up a thick stack of documents. "Nothing about this couple is real. Every public moment, every interview, every so-called accidental paparazzi shot, it's all planned in advance. Even their cereal is chosen by lawyers." Morgan's tone made it clear. He was done letting them control the narrative. He explained how, for years, Blake and Ryan's entire relationship has been staged for maximum effect. Their jokes online, written by professional comedy writers, their playful interviews, rehearsed word for word, even their fights, their makeups, and their family photos are scheduled for when they'll get the most clicks and the best headlines. "They don't live like us," Morgan scoffed. "They live for their audience. Every laugh is rehearsed. Every tear is timed." The myth of their spontaneity was, according to Morgan, the biggest lie in Hollywood. But the real drama started on the set of It Ends With Us. Piers didn't hold back. He gave a play-by-play of what happened when Blake Lively showed up, not just as an actress, but as a one-woman wrecking crew. "She took over," he said flatly, demanded script rewrites, fired staff members who disagreed with her, changed the tone, the costumes, even the cast. Crew members reported the set felt more like a battleground than a movie. Justin Baldoni, the director, tried to keep the project on track, but Blake wouldn't let him, Morgan said. Meetings became fights. Schedules turned into chaos. The movie fell apart before the cameras even started rolling. And when Morgan revealed that Justin Baldoni was forced to file a lawsuit against Blake for sabotage and creating a toxic environment, the shock rippled through the industry. "But the most damning part is what's inside those legal files," Morgan said, his voice dropping to a whisper. "Screenshots, emails, internal texts, evidence showing just how far Blake went to get her way. If this ever goes public, her career could be over in an instant." Morgan said it's only a matter of time before the world sees the real Blake Lively. But that wasn't the only legal bombshell. Morgan claimed that Blake tried to protect herself with a fake Me Too allegation, weaponizing the movement for her own gain. "She used a false accusation to shift blame and discredit people who stood in her way," he said, "and then she hid behind her children, pretending to be a private mom just trying to do the right thing." But Morgan wasn't buying it. He explained how every family photo and story about their kids is released at a moment when Blake or Ryan need a distraction from bad press. "She's using her own children as shields," he said. "It's not parenting, it's PR. Ryan Reynolds didn't escape Morgan's wrath either. In fact, Morgan described how Ryan turned into the fixer for the family, pulling strings behind the scenes to destroy anyone who threatened their brand. Ryan started calling up studio heads, whispering about Justin Baldoni, planting doubts, Morgan explained. He wanted to make sure everyone thought Justin was the problem. That's not just loyalty, that's sabotage. Morgan detailed how Reynolds even hired crisis management firms to dig up dirt on Baldoni, hoping to bury him and protect Blake's image at all costs. As for their so-called perfect family moments, Morgan exposed how even those are nothing but strategic moves. Every time a scandal breaks, a lawsuit, a cheating rumor, a business controversy, fans can count on seeing a new, heartwarming post from Blake or Ryan about their kids. When her drink company, Betty Buzz, was slammed for outrageous prices, suddenly there's a touching story about her daughter helping pick the flavors, Morgan pointed out. When Ryan gets called out for flying private jets during the pandemic, he pops up in an interview gushing about bedtime stories. And when their plantation wedding becomes controversial again, magically, a new family photo appears online. It's a pattern, and it's not an accident. Morgan pulled up a timeline showing how each PR crisis in Blake and Ryan's life was followed, within hours, by a calculated, accidental family post. It's emotional sleight of hand, he said, using their children to shift public attention away from the real story. According to Morgan, this is more than just crisis management. It's manipulation on a whole new level. But Morgan wasn't finished. He exposed how Blake's charity and activism were also carefully staged for the cameras, with little regard for real impact. He described the now infamous Connecticut donut shop incident. Blake showed up with her PR team, posed for photos, handed out donuts, and then left, as a crowd of fans and photographers descended on the shop. The chaos led to health code violations, fines, and a week-long closure that nearly put the shop out of business. But did Blake help them? No, Morgan said bluntly. She got her headlines and then disappeared. That's not charity, that's exploitation. He showed how this wasn't an isolated incident. Time after time, Blake Lively would drop in on a local business, take her pictures, collect the praise, and then vanish as soon as the attention became inconvenient. For her, these aren't acts of kindness. They're props for her public image, Morgan declared. She uses real people as set dressing in her campaign for approval. It was in the middle of this media storm that Morgan dropped his most scandalous claim, that the very origin of the Blake Lively-Ryan Reynolds relationship is a lie. Everyone thinks they fell in love on the set of Green Lantern, he said, but the truth is far messier. According to Morgan, Blake and Ryan started seeing each other while Ryan was still married to Scarlett Johansson. There are emails, photos, and voice messages, Morgan said. Lawyers have worked for years to erase the evidence, but in Hollywood, people remember, and some things never really disappear. He explained how their publicists worked overtime to rewrite the timeline, making it seem as if Ryan and Blake's romance started after his divorce. But, Morgan claims, the affair started long before the official split. Their whole love story is a PR fantasy, Morgan said, a fairy tale created to sell movies, products, and brand deals. He accused them of destroying Scarlett Johansson's marriage in secret, while pretending to be the perfect couple in public. If the real story ever comes out, Morgan said, fans will realize they've been lied to from the very beginning. Morgan also zeroed in on Hollywood's double standards. He showed footage of Blake Lively on a talk show, laughing as she told a story about grabbing a male co-star's backside without warning during an improv scene. If a man did this, he'd be canceled forever, Morgan said. But Blake gets away with it because she's cute and relatable. That's hypocrisy at the highest level. He slammed Hollywood for protecting Blake while destroying other careers for far less. She's built a fortress out of charm and privilege, and the rules just don't apply to her, he said. Morgan said the consequences of these actions are now starting to catch up with Blake and Ryan. Hollywood studios, he revealed, are reconsidering casting either of them in major projects. Their contracts are being reviewed. Big brands are pulling back, Morgan said. Nobody wants to be associated with a scandal that big. According to Morgan, some of the couple's most lucrative endorsement deals are now on hold as executives wait to see whether public outrage continues to grow. For years, they were untouchable, Morgan said. But now, with every new revelation, their empire looks shakier. The script shifted as Morgan walked viewers through the mountain of lawsuits piling up against Blake and Ryan. Some are sealed, but rumors swirl about what's inside. Evidence of behind-the-scenes manipulation, abusive work environments, even attempts to silence whistleblowers with hush money and NDAs. If these documents ever come to light, Morgan warned, it could end their careers overnight. He explained how some of the most damaging evidence remains buried by teams of lawyers and publicists, but whispers in Hollywood suggest that leaks may be coming. You can't keep the truth hidden forever, Morgan said. And when it breaks through, Blake Lively's reign as Hollywood's sweetheart will be finished. He circled back to the fallout from the donut shop incident, telling the story from the perspective of the business owners. They lost everything, Morgan said. A week of lost revenue, a flood of negative reviews, and a reputation that never recovered. Blake Lively walked away with new fans. The shop owners were left to pick up the pieces. He pointed out that this kind of philanthropy is all too common in Hollywood. It's not about helping people, it's about building an image. And when the cameras are gone, so is the support. Morgan also exposed how Blake and Ryan's PR team works overtime to silence negative press. He showed how, whenever a damaging story threatens to break, their publicists swing into action, calling media outlets, threatening legal action, and scrubbing the internet of anything that might harm their image. They want total control, Morgan said, but nobody can control the truth forever. As Morgan recounted each incident, he tied it all back to a single theme: the relentless, almost desperate need for Blake and Ryan to maintain their image at any cost. Every move they make is about protecting the brand, Morgan said. It's not about love. It's not about family. It's about keeping the money and the fame rolling in. He warned fans to be careful what they believe. This isn't a fairy tale, it's a business. Morgan ended with a message to Hollywood. You can only fake it for so long. The cracks are starting to show, and soon there will be nothing left to hide behind. He predicted that the empire Blake and Ryan built on lies, manipulation, and carefully crafted PR will soon collapse under its own weight. He challenged fans to take a closer look at the couple they thought they knew. Every time you see them laughing together, ask yourself, is it real or is it rehearsed? Every time you see a touching family photo, ask, who benefits from this image? Because the answer is almost always Blake and Ryan. Morgan's voice was firm. Don't fall for the act. Morgan brought up former employees who tried to speak out about their experiences, only to find themselves threatened with lawsuits or blacklisted from the industry. People are scared to tell the truth, he said, but more and more are starting to come forward. The dam is about to break. He discussed how, in recent months, Hollywood insiders and even former friends of the couple have begun to distance themselves. Even Taylor Swift is putting space between herself and Blake, Morgan said. When your closest allies start pulling away, you know you're in trouble. He described how social media, once a source of endless praise for Blake and Ryan, has turned against them. Fans are waking up. They see the pattern. They're tired of being lied to, Morgan said. He read comments from disillusioned fans, many of whom now view the couple with suspicion or outright anger. The charm is wearing off. The act is getting old. As the script moved into the later chapters, Morgan dug into the mechanics of the Reynolds Lively brand machine. They have teams of people working around the clock to monitor their image, Naishi, he said. If someone posts a negative story, it's flagged and dealt with immediately. If an old photo resurfaces, it's wiped clean. They spend more time managing their image than living their lives. He explained how, for Blake and Ryan, privacy is just another tool, used when it suits them and ignored when it doesn't. They claim to want to protect their kids, but they'll use them for publicity the second it helps their brand. Morgan spoke about the millions of dollars at stake. Their image isn't just for fun, it's a business. They make money off of every post, every interview, every endorsement. It's a multi-million-dollar empire built on smoke and mirrors. He warned that, when the truth finally comes out, it won't just be Blake and Ryan who suffer. The whole industry will have to reckon with the lies it's been telling. Morgan revisited the lawsuits swirling around the couple. He described rumors of evidence so damning, so detailed, that not even the best lawyers in Hollywood could bury it forever. There are files, screenshots, emails, messages, and people are talking, Morgan said. It's not a matter of if the truth comes out, it's when. He painted a picture of a Hollywood empire on the verge of collapse. Directors are wary, brands are pulling out, fans are furious, Morgan said. And at the center of it all is Blake Lively, once Hollywood's golden girl, now exposed as a master manipulator. He urged his viewers not to be fooled by more relatable posts or funny tweets. Don't let them buy your sympathy with a cute story about their kids. Don't let them distract you with jokes and fake authenticity. Look deeper. See the pattern. Morgan closed his epic takedown with one last dramatic warning. When you sell your soul for perfection, you can't ever get it back. The world is waking up to the truth. And when the dust settles, the empire Blake and Ryan built on deception will be nothing but a cautionary tale. The final shot lingered on Morgan's face as he delivered the last line. Lies always come out in the end. And when they do, there's nowhere left to hide.